Whew. Oh my gosh. June has so many books. There's so many books coming out in June. Lots of debut authors. Lots of small names I've never heard before. It's definitely not a month for blockbusters like May was. Not a lot of big recognizable names this month, but there are lots of them. And maybe you find your favorite new book this month. Maybe I find my favorite new book this month. We will see. Hi, and welcome back to Orbiting the Shelf, where today I'm talking about all the new releases coming out in June 2025, and this is mostly sci-fi, horror, and fantasy. Granted, this month is not really a big month for sci-fi. All of the sci-fi books coming out that I am aware of, because I always miss some, are parts of a series, and if you're a fan of the series, you're already tracking it's coming out, you're already aware of it, they already have their established fans. It's like, there's one coming out that's like book 8, another that's coming out that's like book 3, so we won't waste our time there. Starting off strong with sci-fi, because there's only one book coming out this month that I think is a standalone. I can't find any information on if it's in a series or not. It doesn't seem like it is Fenrir by Eric Flint and Reich E. Sporer. Rick E. Sporer? This one is coming out June 3rd, right at the beginning of the month. This might be one of the only books coming out at the beginning of the month, because most are releasing smack dab in the middle this time around. But this is the only sci-fi book on the list for June, and it reads as follows. When astronomer Stephanie Bronson uncovers a massive alien vessel named Fenrir racing towards the sun, she must lead a desperate mission to rescue its crew before a catastrophic failure dooms them both to fiery destruction. That sounds cool. I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I think sci-fi is my most favorite genre ever, so I'll probably definitely be giving this one a read once I wrap up some of the bigger books from June. Alright, next up, we're jumping straight into fantasy. That was the only sci-fi book. A Song of Legends Lost by M.H. Ayinde? If I pronounce that wrong, I am super sorry. But it looks really cool. The cover is absolutely spectacular. This one also coming out right at the beginning of the month on 6/3, and the back reads as follows. An unforgettable tale of revenge and rebellion unfolds when a reckless king implements an ill-fated plan to end a 1,000-year war in this relentlessly gripping epic fantasy debut. Epic fantasy is a super tough genre to break into, so if you're a debut author making your debut in epic fantasy, that's crazy. I'm not sure if they have other books and this is like their debut into the genre, or if they're a debut author. I think they leave it vague on purpose, because if it were a debut author, I think they would tell us. Either way, debuting into epic fantasy, it's gotta be kinda good. Epic fantasy is so competitive, it's gotta be kinda good minimum for it to get published. So fingers crossed, really excited about that one. That's another one I will for sure be reading once I wrap up some of the bigger blockbusters that released in May. The second one is Realm of Thieves by Karina, and this one is a romantasy book. I know, a romantasy book on Orbiting the Shelf. First time for everything. But it sounded interesting, it sounded good, and I'm getting a lot more female followers from somewhere, because, women are like 90% of literate people now. So this one seemed fun. It releases June 10th, and the back reads as follows. Two thieves vie for dominance in the illegal dragon egg trade, putting both their lives and their hearts on the line in this scorching romantasy from New York Times bestselling author Karina Hale. Probably Halle or Hal. Hey, Halle? I think it's Halle. That looks like Halle to me. Either way, that one looks super fun. That's one my wife will definitely be reading. And who knows, maybe I'll get around to it. Do my first romantasy book review. Well, second, weirdly enough. Our third book in fantasy is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. This one is fantasy. It's releasing on 6/10, and the back reads as follows. From V.E. Schwab, the #1 New York Times bestselling author of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, a new genre-defying novel about immortality and hunger. This is a story about hunger. 1532 Santo Domingo de la Calzada, a young girl grows up wild and wily. Her beauty is only outmatched by her dreams of escape, but Maria knows she can only ever be a prize, or a pawn, in the games played by men. When an alluring stranger offers an alternate path, Maria makes a desperate choice. She vows to have no regrets. This is a story about love. 1827 London. A young woman lives an idyllic but cloistered life on her family's estate until a moment of forbidden intimacy sees her shipped off to London. Charlotte's tender heart and seemingly impossible wishes are swept away by an invitation from a beautiful widow, but the price of freedom is higher than she could have imagined. That sounds super cool. I see V.E. Schwab books all the time. I've never read one. That one sounds super interesting. Now, we are comfortably out of fantasy and sci-fi, and we are moving into the new releases for horror, which is where I think like 3 or 4 people are making their debuts. I think I have a couple indie books in here. So if your book made it onto the list, shout out to you. Super happy for you. I don't think I excluded any new horror books releasing this month. If I did, and you're aware, drop it in the comments. I'll pin it. I always end up missing something. Like, I scour every list. Like, I scroll through that giant Reddit mega thread for the new releases every month. I go to ChatGPT and ask it for all the new releases it's aware of. But somehow, something always falls through the cracks. So if you're aware of it, let me know. I'll pin it and make a comment with everything I missed. But with that being said, let's jump into horror. We are starting off with Riley Sager, and their new novel is With a Vengeance. New York Times best-selling author of The Only One Left. Everyone's a New York Times best-selling author, apparently. And the back reads as follows. One train, no stops. A deadly game of survival and revenge. In 1942, 6 people destroyed Anne Matheson's family. 12 years later, she's ready for retribution. Under false pretenses, Anna has lured those responsible for her family's downfall onto a luxury train from Philadelphia to Chicago, an overnight journey of 13 hours. Her goal? Confront the people who have wronged her, get them to confess their crimes, and deliver them into the hands of authorities waiting at the end of the line. Justice will at last be served. But Anna's plan is quickly derailed by the murder of one of the passengers. As the train barrels through the night, it becomes clear that someone else on board is enacting their own form of revenge, and that they won't stop until everyone else is dead. With time running out before the train reaches its destination, Anna is forced to hunt the killer in their midst while protecting the people she hates the most. In order to destroy her enemies, she must first save them, even though it means putting her own life at risk. This one sounded much more crime thriller oriented, but everybody was lumping it in with horror, so there we go. We got that one out of the way. That one's releasing June 10, and maybe some of you are super excited about that. I'm not like a crime book person. It seems like that genre is very much dominated by like 30 to 50-year-old women, which is a very unique market to like break into. I don't know, just something I've noticed. You very rarely meet men who are into like crime thriller books. All the people who were into crime thrillers were like my mom, her friends, my grandma, the old ladies at the library. I never met men who are like super into crime thrillers. I know they're out there. It seems like that is a very older woman dominated genre. I think that says something about you guys. I don't know what it is, but it's concerning. All right, the next book on our list is releasing on June 10th, and it is The King of Everything by Jack Moody. And this one looks very Stephen King inspired, like old school Stephen King. I'm not sure if you guys are picking up that vibe, but I am. Anyways, the back reads as follows. In the heart of an empty city, humanity's last echo lingers. The last living human wanders through a metropolis frozen in time. The streets still hum with electricity, food and drink remain fresh, and forest fauna roam the streets without worry. By day, it's a surreal paradise, but at night, shadows emerge from the darkness, slaughtering any creature foolish enough to remain in the open, stacking the corpses into towering pyres set ablaze as offerings to a greater eldritch being. Desperation drives him into the nearby woods to seek refuge, yet something else calls the green expanse home. Something equally mysterious. In order to survive, he'll have to confront the unknown and unravel the mysteries of a dying world. Only then will he be ready to face that which frightens him most. For no matter where he hides, an unseen voice beckons. Come home, little prince. Come home to me. Robinson Crusoe in a Lovecraftian landscape, the king of everything contends with the dualities of man and animal. I won't read the whole thing, goes on for a long time. That sounds amazing. That is for sure getting added to June's TBR. Cannot wait to read that. Does that interest anybody else as much as it interests me? That sounds fantastic. All right, the next book on the horror list, huge month for horror, comes out June 10th, and it is Enter the Peerless, a novel by Kyle Winkler. And this cover art is also sick. I don't know what it is, but like the horror cover artists lately have been absolutely cooking. This is amazing. Anyway, book overview, and I might mess up this name. Anyways, Elpenor, a newly minted private investigator, finds his first case on Craigslist. 29 people have entered an abandoned trailer in rural Indiana, and none of them have left. Unable to open the trailer's doors or windows, Elpenor enlists 2 local accomplices, a knife grinder, Don the Knife, and a janitor, Hugh Gardner. When they finally gain access, they fall into a pocket universe ruled by a godlike being called Fiascal. Refugees of this world, a depopulated and exact copy of our world, congregate around a web of communities in St. Louis. Elpenor attempts to find the missing people, but is instead forced to become the new host of Fiascal as a community ritual. His search for the missing in the netherworld and the needs of the hungry, petulant god conflict as Don the Knife raises a cult of personality. Community leaders abuse their authority, and Elpenor must decide whether to save the few over the many. That is, if he can find a way out of the metaphysical prison he's broken into. Told in a charged, high rhetorical, hard-boiled style, Enter the Peerless is a detective novel for the paranoiacs and the heart-sick rejects who know an angel in the dirt when they see one. I don't know. I'm a little iffy on this one. It sounds great. Sounds fantastic. Sounds like a fun time. I'm not sure if it really speaks to me. It's hitting a niche of like ironic humor horror when I read this that I'm not a fan of, but who knows? Like I said, I bet this gets like a cult following. This is one of those books that's not for me, but has massive success, and I wish the author nothing but the best on this one. Let me know how you feel about that one. All right. The next book, releasing on June 10th, is Awakened by Laura Elliot. And once again, the artists for the horror covers this month, cooking. You guys are on fire. And the back reads as follows. From debut author Laura Elliot comes a tense horror novel emboldened by the surreal, perfect for fans of 28 Days Later and The Girl with All the Gifts. Science has stolen sleep and awakened a world of horror. I've been an insomniac all of my life, but I'm not sleepless, and I won't become sleepless just as long as the chips that were put into their heads never get put into mine. There's little chance of that, since I won't put the machinery into my brain, and neither will Edgar, and neither will the professor, and we're the only 3 left who could. I don't want to be sleepless. Civilization has ended. In a bid to make us more productive, to give us more time, science took sleep from humanity, but sleeplessness turned people into feral monsters, and now a small group of scientists are trapped in the Tower of London, consumed by guilt at what they have done and desperately searching for a cure. And then one day, as the last Raven circle, 2 miraculous survivors walk into the tower. Are they the answers, or a terrible question? Sounds super cool, sounds fun. Maybe not super up my alley, but I will definitely give it a chance. Congratulations to Laura Elliot on her debut novel. That is super cool. Hope it goes well. Sounds fun. Sounds like a unique premise. And I will definitely give that a little sample on Audible and consider that. The next book, Ashes of August Manor, a novel by Blaine Daigle. Daigle? I don't know. A novel by Blaine. And this one is releasing on June 10. June 10, absolutely massive day for book releases. Every book this month is June 10. Anyways, the back reads as follows. For fans of The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor. I mean, did you need to name the same? I know it's his publisher who made this like blurb, but like, do you need to tell me it's for fans of 2 seasons of like the same show? Whatever. I don't know. I think that's an oversight on like the publisher's part. For fans of The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor, Noelle, a tragedy-ridden hospice worker with a unique connection to death, accepts a job caring for the dying patriarch of the reclusive August family at their lakefront manor just outside the town of Bell River, Oregon. The house does not have electricity, and the eccentric nature of the family is displayed through the grotesque artwork that lines the walls of the manor. As Noelle wrestles with her own struggles, with understanding her connection to death, she is also plunged headfirst into the dark mysteries surrounding the August family. The dying patriarch, who she is strangely never able to see, the head of the household incapable of giving a straight answer, and a boy unable to speak, but clearly terrified of something. But above all, she must uncover the answers behind the ashen footprints she finds all over the house at night, and the withered figure she sees looming at the tree line across the lake. Well, that sounds super fun. Sounds a little bit more subtle, a little more mystery driven. That sounds cool. Very excited to give that one a chance. All right, our final book of the month, last but certainly not least, releasing on June 3rd, is The Ghost Rider by Julie Clark. Once again, very cool cover. Props to the artist this month, or to AI. Who knows? It's hard to tell anymore. But hopefully it's artists, and if it is, good on you. And the back reads as follows. June 1975. The Taylor family shatters in a single night when two teenage siblings are found dead in their own home. The only surviving sibling, Vincent, never shakes the whispers and accusations that he was the only one who killed them. Decades later, the legend only grows as his career as a horror writer skyrockets. Ghostwriter Olivia Dumont has spent her entire professional life hiding the fact that she is the only child of Vincent Taylor. Now on the brink of financial ruin, she's offered a job to ghostwrite her father's last book. And there's a lot more, but we'll stop there. All right, those are the books for June. If you stayed till the end, I appreciate you mucho bueno. As always, if you don't mind, like and subscribe. I appreciate it so much. It's really hard growing this small channel in a very small niche. There's only so many people who read books nowadays. Let me know which books of June you're adding to your TBR, which ones you're most excited for, which ones you think I should read and then consequently review. I love hearing from all of you guys. I mean, shoot, even if your TBR includes something that aren't new releases, let me know. And my 6 friends who always watch and like and comment. I appreciate all of you guys. But that's it. Let me know what you're reading this month. Let me know which new releases you're excited for. And I will see you next time. Bye.